joining us here in our studio, as always. Overseas now, tonight we're going to tell you about the next global crisis you will be hearing about. It's bad, and fair warning, it's hard to watch, and it's going to get worse. The UN is using a word we don't hear them use often, and that's famine. It's happening in the Horn of Africa, triggered by years of drought and poverty and civil war in some cases, and setting off a human tide of refugees. The drought is severe. The humanitarian crisis is centered in Somalia, but also Kenya, Ethiopia, and Djibouti, devastating crops and livestock and sources of drinking water. The UN estimates more than 11 million people are in urgent need of food assistance, including millions of children. NBC's Rohit Kachru has our report tonight from the Kenya-Somalia border. And a reminder, again, these are some tough images.
Famine has returned to Africa. In this village, it hasn't rained heavily for 2 years, so children are starving, desperately in need of help.
They really need it urgently. It's a matter of urgency, and some of them, they cannot even wait for a second.
Millions of people have been forced to flee their homes. 400,000 have come to this refugee camp in eastern Kenya, most from Somalia. And every day, 1,500 more arrive, escaping war as well as famine. To get here, Abby Grady has walked for almost a month with her 5 children. Along her way, she was joined by other families crossing the border too. This woman left home with her 12-year-old boy, mother and son together, but he collapsed from hunger and died on the way.
For so many people, this will be the first real meal that they've eaten for several days. The rations are small, the camp is overcrowded, and yet many people are so happy to be here.
But even here, there is a chronic shortage of food as the aid agencies struggle to cope with demand. Across the border in Somalia, the situation is more desperate and much more dangerous. The militant group Al-Shabaab, affiliated to Al-Qaeda, controls parts of the country. Only now is it letting some aid through. All the while, across parts of East Africa, the conditions are worsening and the famine is spreading. Rohit Kachru, NBC News, on the Kenya-Somalia border.
What's sadly common about this is it's been going on for some time, but the world is just taking note. And before long, there will be camera crews and journalists there. We'll continue to cover this story in the coming days. And we know a lot of our generous viewers will want to help the people in the Horn of Africa. There's a list of charities who are doing just that on our website tonight. That's nightly.msnbc.com. In Washington,